Welcome everyone, this is Slim with Third Party Studios, and this is my review of Enshrouded. So Enshrouded is a third-person survival game, I was originally going to say, and I looked up the original, its own description for the game, and Enshrouded is listed as a game of survival, crafting, action, RPG combat within a sprawling voxel-based content. I have about 16 hours in the game. I play with um, someone who led me into this game. This is kind of why I'm making this, because I didn't hear anything about it. No outlets, no YouTube videos, no nothing. And I was super surprised at the moment. And I had a discussion with a friend of the channel, Milkman. You've seen other videos with him possibly. Age of Empires 2. We played together multiple times in other videos. I recommend going to check that out. I have approximately 16 hours in this game. It's a 42-hour game for the main story, and about 54-ish hours for all the side quests, and probably it says a bit more. I've looked all these details up. About 60-ish more for all the side quests, the completionists, all the achievements stuff, Steam achievements, what have you. So I want to talk about a bit about the game, and then why I think it hasn't gotten more grip or more videos about it or more attention. And so some of the game mechanics I think are super interesting for the survival kind of game. Its building really sticks out. How you can manipulate your different building. You can if you can imagine it kind of in this game, you can kind of craft it. You basically have these squares and these spirals, and it's so many different building stuff for it, and then you edit. It's just crazy. You can just edit how your buildings look, and Milkman kind of described it as like you can imagine it as a giant medieval thing, like castle, and you can create them. You will see in this video I have. It's just gorgeous. You can craft anything you can think of, and the crafting system isn't that punishing like some other games. It's very lenient and very rewarding. It's gives you experience, and it's very good. Um, so that's very positive for the note of this game if you're into that. The crafting as well in this game is it's kind of tedious. I'm going to have to gripe on that a bit. It can be grindy and it can be exhausting, but it's very rewarding. You always get something out of it. Like, you don't summon survival, you're like, oh great, here's 10 wood out of getting this, chopping down this tree. What can I do with that? Oh, nothing. I gotta chop down 100 trees. This game doesn't seem to do that. It has a lot of material, but all this material does something, and you need all this material. So it's rewarding but tedious kind of thing, and I kind of like that, and I can see why this niche of a game maybe didn't click on because of that reason. Another note of this is that action RPG is listed as. This game has awesome combat. It's has like, I think like 10 different classes, 12 different classes. They kind of really overlap on each other, but that's a good thing. This combat system in this game really seems to be like a spider web more than I'm going archer, I'm going rogue, I'm going wizard, and that's all you can do. There's like a battle mage. You can very heavy into a tank and a wizard if you want. You can branch out into multiple different things and be very successful. And it doesn't seem like there's this you got to do it this way or you're gonna fail. It feels like in this game, since it's not extremely difficult, we'll get to the combat, but it feels like you can lean into your play style and not be severely punished for it. And I very much like that. I am going a fighter in mine, and our buddy of the channel, Milkman, is going into a battle wizard, because you need melee and magic for this game, or an archery thing. So I'm going also a pit archer, and it feels like that's very rewarding. You can go into your own play style. There's tons of classes, and it's very, very dynamic for your play style. Another thing, it's got farming, which helps like boost your stats, like every piece of food and water. While you don't need it like other survivals, it buffs you, which is, I think, a perfect solution around it. You don't like, oh great, I need water, I go get water. Oh, I need food because I'm going to starve and die. No, these things add buffs to you, which help you for if you're a newer player or just on a long journey out in the Shroud. Crafting also is very tedious. I'm going to have to like knock on this again. There's so many different builders. There's like 6 of them. You need to collect them all and then go jump between them, and they create such powerful stuff, which is so nice. But it's like, oh, I got to get all these builders. I got to do all this, and then I think that knocks it a bit because it can seem tedious. But those players who like that stuff, which is me a bit and Milkman a lot, love that kind of system. And I do like it, but I can see why it can be overwhelming because, like, oh great, where do I go? Who do I have to talk to? And then another part of the game mechanics is the combat. I love the combat. I've watched other reviews in this game, and they can talk about how the combat can seem repetitious, or if you fight a boss, you know their moves, and that is true to a bit. And I see that, but I think these people who are reviewing this game or have talked about it are not thinking about the underlying gratification of learning a boss's moves or learning a unit's moves. I've gone into a new unit and seen a new boss, and all of a sudden, Milkman's like, watch out for him. You need to learn his moves. You need to do this. And the new unit, any new unit you walk into is very, very punishing. He will kill you the first time. A new boss will kill you the first time, in my experience. But once you learn his moves, it's so rewarding. You won't get touched. Once you learn them, you can dodge. The dodge mechanic and block mechanic are so powerful. So you need to learn those, but it's a learning curve that's so rewarding. So that kind of leads into like the story of this. The story is awesome. There's a lot of reading, I will give you that, but read it. It's such a rich story, and it leads into so many things you'll learn. And if all of a sudden you're like reading, like if you don't read your stuff and all of a sudden you come into the main story plot and you're like, who's this guy? But if you read all the stuff and all the notes out there, it's just this vast, rich story that they give you. So I highly implore you to read. And the last part of it is why I think this kind of failed. So this game has been out since January 24th, 2024. Its max player base is just over 160,000. That's a lot of people, and that's why I'm surprised I haven't seen this after I saw this number. But I just looked into Pal Worlds, which I did play. That game came out 5 days earlier, January 19th. Had a peak of 2.1 million. That's so many people. How do you compete with that? How do you contend with that? And then not even a month later, February 26th, February 22nd, Helldivers came out with a max player base of 450,000. So I just think there was just so many good games that come out. We've talked about this on our podcast before. There's just so many good games. How do you keep up? How do you play all of them? You can't. So people gravitated either to their favorite games, played Pal Worlds, played Helldivers, and just didn't pay this game much attention. So I highly implore you that you give this game a shot. You take a look at it at least, and at the Steam page, it's not that expensive. I believe it was $30, maybe 40. So it's not a super expensive game. Give it a try. It's very good with a person you're playing with. So I suggest that if you have people to play with. It's very rewarding through the grind, which most, I think, games like this don't do nowadays. And it's very rewarding if you learn enemies' movements and combat. It just gives you so much for what you put into it. And the more you put into it, the more it gives you. So I highly you check this out. It's just very, very well. And that's my review for this game. I want to thank you all so much for watching this. If you made it all the way through this, I want to thank one of my buddy who helped us make this, Milkman. He helped write this and brought this game to my attention, and it's very much appreciated. This is my very first edited and scripted video. I wrote a whole script for this, so I want to thank you for making it all the way through this. And if you could like and subscribe to the channel, and then maybe even leaving a comment down below to some constructive criticism, and maybe if you want to see more of this stuff, make a comment down below, and I would really appreciate it. Thank you so much, and peace.